So I want to welcome you guys back and acknowledge that you know most people never ever start a challenge like this, let alone stick with it for 7 straight weeks. And now I've seen some fall off. That's normal. And maybe people are watching the recording, but for the ones that have stuck on here, you know who you are. I see you on here. You've been here every single week, even if I've changed the time to 3 o'clock because Lifeway was having a meeting. You're still here. You're still learning. You're growing. You're applying. You're showing up. And I want you to hear this. Everyone on this call, you are not average. You guys are becoming a leader, full on leaders. This is what it takes to become a leader is to stick with something and stick through something and just make a commitment. And this is what we've been talking about with the 90-day massive action plan. And you guys have actually done this. But before I get started, I wanted to remind you guys quickly of our next live event. Probably most of you on here have already registered September 26th through 29th from Nashville, Tennessee. This is not just a getaway. This is going to be a breakthrough weekend built around a mission. I promise you guys. We're going to help you guys master and maximize the new compensation plan so you can grow faster, earn more, and lead with total clarity. We've been talking about this. What we're going to do is we're going to go deep on strategy. How we're going to take the comp plan and put a strategy in place that you can execute and maximize. Organizational structure, like what Sarah was just talking about, like how important that organizational structure is so that you can maximize the comp plan. New rank acceleration, leadership duplication, and most importantly, how you guys can turn this plan into a serious momentum in your business. The best part is the cost is only $825, and that includes your hotel, that includes your meals, and the entire event experience that you're going to get out of this event. And what I said on the call today is it's an $800 investment. I guarantee you, if you implement and execute the things that you're going to learn there, it's going to turn into an 80,000, 800,000, or an $8 million return on your money if you guys come and execute on what we're going to teach you. We're going to keep it intimate. We're going to keep it high impact, and it's going to be designed for those who are serious about leveling up your business. You guys always hear Devin, Sarah, Kyle, everyone saying it's about event to event. But I think right now, this is going to be the most important event that you guys show up to. This is your chance to lock in with leaders like Devin and Sarah, Kyle, Rochelle, Carlos, Kendall, all the people that are having massive success in this company. And you guys are going to walk away with an exact plan to take your business to the next level. So I'm going to have Lola drop in the chat right now the link. So don't wait, you guys. Spots are limited. And once they're gone, they're gone. There's nothing we can do about it. Last year, we could make movements. We cannot make any movements. We are committed to this, and that's all they have. So I hope to see you guys again. And if you're ready, already coming, awesome. I can't wait to spend more time with you. I know like I really connected with a lot of you at the event, Chad and Lucia and her husband. Like there was a lot of you that I connected with that I know are going to be long-term friends. So I can't wait to see you guys there again. So let's get to what we did last class. It's been a minute because I had to reschedule things because of things coming up. We didn't just talk about goals, we felt them out. We gave them a face. We looked our dreams in the eye by creating vision boards that moved from fantasy to focus. That was what we talked about last week. But we didn't stop there. We took a torch to the limiting beliefs that silently sabotage your greatness. We exposed the victim mentality, that voice that says, why me? That's not fair. Why'd they do this to me? And we called it what it was. And it's a lie. It's a lie you're telling yourself. It's a lie you're telling the world. We made it crystal clear. You cannot be a victim and a victor at the same time. A lot of people are going to be a victim in this comp change. That's what they're going to lead with. Like, why? Why do they have to change it? We're not going to be that way. You have to choose. Are you a victim or are you a victor? And then we drew a line between blame and breakthrough. Excuse me. And then we unpacked how owning your life 100% gives you all of your power back. You cannot give your power to anybody by not owning your life 100%. Not to erase your past. I'm not telling you have to erase your past because your past is very valuable. But you have to build your future based on all that past and all those things that you think happened to you when they happened for you. Then we went deeper into expectations. And let's be honest, you guys, I know that part hit home for a lot of you. My wife and I just had a little bit of an argument yesterday because I had expectations. It's really hard not to have expectations, but you got to really try and you got to recognize when you're having those expectations. And then if you're feeling those, you guys know those are emotional grenades and they're just waiting to go off when you have that expectation because people cannot read your mind. They don't know what you're thinking when you're thinking it. So you got to communicate. And then we broke the pattern by talking of that, of resenting others for not reading your mind while constantly breaking promise to ourselves. That's what we do all the time, you guys. And we call it no big deal. You know why? Because you don't have an accountability partner. You didn't tell anybody. So your ego is not involved. When you tell people your ego is involved, you can break promises so easily. I'm going to start working out tomorrow. I'm going to start eating better tomorrow. I'm going to start spending more time with my kids. Whatever the promises are that you say to yourself that you're going to do every Sunday on the next Monday and you don't do it, create those accountability partners. So we flip that script. Stop expecting so much from other people. Two people you can have expectations from. People that you pay money, because that's a contract. Money equals contract, and yourself. So you got to start demanding more from you. Why? Because your discipline is your destiny, you guys. Your character is your currency. That's why we have the core values that we talked about. That builds your character, that builds your brand, and that becomes your currency. And then when you align your actions with your standards, the world will start to take notice. You don't have to have a megaphone talking about all these things. They're just going to start noticing because of your actions and your results. And then we talked about that silent killer of fear. And the reason I'm recapping this because it's been a long time. I think we haven't met in 3 weeks. I just want to start off and recap what we talked about really, really briefly. We faced that silent killer of fear. We stripped off its mask and we called it out as what it is. It's false evidence appearing real. It's not real. 99% of the things that you worry about will never, ever come true. Ever. And fear is not a stop sign, you guys. It's a signal. It's a signal that your destiny is on the other side of it. So whenever you feel that fear, that means you got to go right at it. And I know you're going to fear failure. We're going to talk about that today. And you don't need to wait until you're not afraid. You just need to move while you're afraid. A lot of people are afraid of this comp plan right now. And then they're going to freeze. That's the last thing you need to do. You need to move. You need to figure this thing out. That's what Kyle and I did yesterday. We sat down for 2 hours and dissected this thing and said, how can we simplify this for everybody? Because the antidote to fear, you guys, is action. It's the only thing that's going to get you past that fear. And we were not created to be controlled by fear. I mean, look at the news. They want to control everybody. They want to keep everybody in the house. Look at COVID. We learned from that. We're not created to be controlled. You were created for massive success. And that's exactly what you're going to accomplish, especially the ones on here tonight that have been on here consistently. So I want to bring this full circle for you guys. In 6 short weeks, although it's been over 3 months, you've been building a new mental operating system. One built on vision, one grounded in ownership, one fueled by discipline, and one unshaken by fear. This is not hype, you guys. This is transformation. I've been going through this transformation for the last 15 years. And listen, I'm going to tell you guys, I struggle with it just like you're going to struggle with it from 10 years from now. There's no one perfect. There's things that are going to come up. But now you have the tools to deal with them. You have the tools to get through them. You have to do the inner work. And then you have to multiply it outwards. Because what we're about to cover today is going to shift the way you lead. It's going to elevate the way you show up in relationships. And it's going to clarify how you build teams that don't just follow, but they duplicate. That's what this business is all about, is duplication. You don't want to have a bunch of followers. You want people that are going to duplicate your system, duplicate your mindset, duplicate your thinking. So if you're ready to take everything you've built so far and put it into motion with massive impact, let's dive in and talk about the ugly word of failure. Because all of these things, you're going to create this action and you're going to fall flat on your face. Because I've done it 1,000 times, probably more. And I'm going to tell you, failure is not the end unless you quit, unless you throw the towel in, unless you give up. And that's not just a saying, you guys. It's a mindset. It's backed by every great thought leader and high achiever ever. I don't know if you guys know the CEO of IKEA. He hands out a banana card to his team members, every single person that comes on. And this banana card is an invitation to experiment and learn from their mistakes. He wants people to make mistakes because he knows mistakes reinforces that risk and innovation are inseparable. He doesn't mind it if people make mistakes. He just doesn't want you to make the same mistake twice. Once you make a mistake, learn from it because he knows that failure is simply part of the process. Tony Robbins, great thought leader, great motivator. He puts it even more plainly. If you have to fail to, you have to fail to be successful. This is what he always says. You have to fail to be successful. And he reminds us that even his greatest breakthroughs emerged only after pushing through adversity. Tony Robbins, one of the most successful men on the planet, and teaches success. His greatest breakthroughs happened after he pushed through massive adversity. There's a skateboarder named Rodney Mullen, and he offers this metaphor. Every single fall, every crash, every single painful moment in your life is the crucible where resilience and greatness are forged. So why does failure even matter? Because it reveals gaps in strategy and execution. When you fail, it just means your strategy is probably not as good as you think it is. It probably means you didn't execute on what you said you were going to do. Failure also builds muscle memory. It builds that memory for bold decisions. Because when you made a bold decision and you fail, what did you do? Did you quit? Did you give up? Or did you have grit? The kind of consistent edge that separates winners. Because the people that have grit win. They might not win always, but they're going to win eventually. So I want this to be your new rally cry, you guys. Measure failure not as defeat, but as data. Every time you fail, why did you fail? When I take my daughter out to the golf course every single week, 3 or 4 times, we have a conversation at the end of every single lesson. And I say, how was practice? And she says, amazing. Even if it wasn't amazing, because she has learned that every single practice is amazing because she learned something. And so I always ask her, what did you learn today? And she'll go through what she learned and where she didn't do well and what she forgot to do. And so what I always tell her is every stumble is a pulse check. It's an honest signal showing you that you're in motion and that you're learning and evolving, and it's okay. It's okay to have a bad practice. It's okay to fail. And I tell her, her non-negotiable is never let fear stop you. Never let failure guide you. And I always tell her, listen, there is no such thing as failure, Luna, unless you quit. That's it. That is not a word. That's a word that was made up by people because they quit. So this week, I want to discuss with you guys the 9 questions that I ask myself every single day when I wake up. And I'm not promoting this book, but that book right there, the Success IQ GPS, it's a 365-day journal, and I use this journal every single day, and it has questions and it has quotes of the day every single day. And when I wake up every single day, this is what I start with my writing. And these are what I ask myself every single day because these are accountability questions for me. And I want to equip everyone with a part of the morning routine that sets the stage for an unshakable progress in your day. Each question sharpens clarity. It's going to cement your consistency, cement your discipline, and it's rooted in proven psychology and self-leadership principles. Listen, guys, I've read a lot of books. I did not invent this. These are from all the books that I've read, and this is what I've been doing for the last 15 years. And the first question I ask myself every single day in this book is what did I do to get 1% better yesterday? And this is just a moment, an honest question between me and me. Did I actually do something to get better yesterday? Did I read? Did I stretch myself to learn something new? Did I try something new? And the psychology behind this is small incremental wins that are going to build monumental growth. It's going to build monumental mindset. And it's going to help me celebrate those micro progresses that's going to reinforce confidence, and it's going to keep perfectionism at bay. I'm a perfectionist. I want everything perfect. I have OCD and I want everything to be perfect. If it's not perfect, I have a real problem with it. But what this helps me do is know that I'm having progress. The second question I ask are, who are three people that I'm grateful for? And did I tell them? Because it's cool to have this gratefulness in your mind. But when you reach out to people and you say, you know what, I'm super grateful for you. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for doing this. If you notice, I'm always, Sarah and Devin, every time I see them, I thank them because they have created this success that I'm having in my business. I wouldn't be where I am without them. Maybe it would have taken me a lot longer to get there, but me being able to reach out to them, and I'm super grateful for them. And the psychology behind that gratitude, it increases your well-being. It increases and strengthens social bonds. When you express, it amplifies positive emotion and it enhances relationships with other people and yourself. Number three, what is one thing that I'm grateful for? And did I share that with someone? Not someone I'm grateful for, but something that I'm grateful for. Could be your health, could be your wealth, it could be your marriage, it could be the health of your kids, whatever it is. Take a moment every day. It could be the same thing every single day, but writing it down is really, really important. And so the psychology behind this is a second gratitude moment helps embed positivity in your life. And then social sharing multiplies dopamine in your mind and it reinforces neural pathways tied to generosity and happiness. You guys, generosity is one of the best things that you can ever do. Even if it's just volunteering your time, going into a battered woman's shelter and helping there, going to a nursing home. I mean, just seeing people in a situation that you're not in makes you appreciate your life and makes you live differently. And then the fourth question I ask are, what are two goals for today? What are two things, two top goals that I'm going to accomplish? And then the addition to that question is, and did I add them to my calendar? So I'm writing these down. These are my two goals. I go right to my calendar. I put them on my calendar. And the psychology behind this is planning and time blocking, which we talked about in the GPS and the GPA. It converts to intentions and commitments. Those visual cues on your calendar make follow through more likely because you're activating your brain and saying, I'm going to do this today. That accountability with yourself, you put it out into the universe. And then number five is, what goals did I hit yesterday? I'm just going to flip back a page. Did I accomplish these two goals? Because the psychology behind that is reflecting on accomplishments helps you align with self-determination, discipline, and consistency. And when you do that, that's going to drive motivation and create better habits. And when you create better habits, that habit of creating those better habits are going to create the success that you're looking for. Number six, what is the one thing that made me smile yesterday? This is my favorite question because most of the time it's my daughters. Most of the time it's my little girls because they always say something every single day that makes me smile. Today, I'll tell you what made me smile. I went into the house and my daughter lost her tooth. You guys are gonna think I'm crazy. I started this precedent. I don't know why. I guess because I do things with my kids that I wish my parents did with me. But every time she loses a tooth, I give her 20 bucks from the tooth fairy. And so I told my wife last night, I was like, you know what? Their teeth's gonna cost us about $1,000 at the end of it. They'll fall out. But it makes them so happy. And my daughter likes to go to Target and get a book or a coloring book or whatever. And so my daughter, my 4-year-old was like, already at four, Poppy, can I get 20 bucks to go to Target? Because Luna's tooth fell out. And I was just like, the fact that she's four and just asking, like, it just makes me smile. And just how she asked was so cute. So, like, that made my day today, put a big smile on my face. So, the psychology behind that is the positive reflection that's going to reset my mood. Like, I was stressed. I had a lot going on. And as soon as she did that and come up to me and look with those big brown eyes, it just made me joyful. And, when challenges are looming, it's really crucial that you have those things and those thoughts in your mind when those types of things are happening. Number seven, what is the one new thing that I learned yesterday? And when you sit down and you do this, you're like, what did I learn yesterday? Am I growing every day? And if you struggle with what did I learn yesterday, like I read every day, so it's pretty easy. Whatever I read yesterday, I learned something every single day. There's a book I'm reading right now called The 48 Laws of Power. It is so interesting. And it takes you back 4,000 years ago of these kings and these people that led and how they stayed in power. And it's just so interesting to me how that all worked. And so, like, there's just so much out there that we can learn. And that psychology behind that, and the reason I say, listen, these 9 questions are all psychology, and psychology is mindset. And so, the reason I'm talking about the psychology is because it's really important to understand why you should do it, right? Understanding the why, like Simon Sinek talks about, will make you go through these 7 questions, and these 7 questions are going to improve your life. And so, the psychology behind this is actively asking what you learn increases your retention. And then it's going to fuel continued learning because learning is going to become fun because now you're going to be full of knowledge that you're going to be able to help other people. And then it's going to create more curiosity, which is going to help your growth. Number 8 is what is the one thing that would have made yesterday even better? And a lot of times, I'll tell you the truth on this question. Most of the time for me is if I could have spent a little bit more time with my girls. I spend a good amount of time with them, but it's never enough. And so every day I try to spend a little bit more time with them. And it's just a reminder when I ask this question of myself. And the psychology behind this is just reflection and improvement. And what it does, it improves your mindset. And then it's going to build adaptive thinking. And then it's going to transform your mistakes into strategic pivots. How can I do it better tomorrow? And then 9, my favorite question is what did I give yesterday? And I'm not just talking money, you guys. I'm talking about time, attention, effort, listening. This is a really, really important question because we can give every single day something of us to our wife, to our kids, to our leaders, to the people on our team. Like, what did you give? How did you help somebody on your team yesterday? Just listen or just pour into them. Like, I'll tell you, Sarah, that girl gives and gives and gives. I mean, I don't know if you guys were all on the call when it started, but she was talking about she lives 47 minutes from somebody, and if they ever need her, she's happy to drive up there. Talk about giving. I mean, the first thing I thought was like, damn, 47 minutes? You're not that close. But Sarah's just going to do whatever because she is a giver. And when you have the psychology, that generosity activates reward centers in your own self and it boosts your purpose. Sarah has a purpose, and that is to impact as many people as she can and help as many people as she can. It's just inside of her. And she loves to serve others because when we serve others, it also enhances our self-worth and gratitude, and it makes us do more and more and more and give and give and give. And it's all tied to you flourishing and appreciating your own amazing life. So, bringing it all together by courageously leaning into failure, then anchoring your day with clarity through these 9 questions, you will create a powerful combination of courage, clarity, and action. And we all need more courage because that fear is always going to creep in. And how you overcome fear is to have courage. How you overcome fear is to have clarity. How you overcome fear of failure is to take action. And then you stop apologizing for the stumble and you start celebrating every step forward. Stop apologizing. It's a part of the process because that failure is simply the raw data of progress. It's the raw data of accountability. It transforms the data into daily breakthroughs. And what this really helps you guys with is all the tricks that your minds play on you. And now what you guys have after the 7 weeks is ammo. You have ammo to fight back. You have ammo to fight against that subconscious that's constantly trying to manipulate you into believing the lies. So, one of the last things I want to talk about before I let Devin and Sarah finish this call up is I want to talk to you guys about something that is sold to us like it's real, and it doesn't actually exist. Okay? Your whole life, you've probably heard this word balance. You've heard the phrase 1,000 times. You need to create more balance in your life. I know one thing about Devin is he's a lot like me. He's a workaholic. He likes to be moving. He likes to do things. He's always doing something. He's got several businesses, and probably people in his life is like, dude, you need to have more balance. But here's the truth that nobody ever wants to admit. There is no such thing as balance. Life isn't a perfectly level scale where every area of your life, family, business, health, relationships, spirituality, gets equal attention each and every single day. It doesn't work like that, you guys. Some days your business needs more of you. Other days your family needs all of you. Sometimes your body demands that you rest. And other times your purpose calls you to sprint, to full on just run it out that day. And if you're constantly chasing balance, you're always going to feel like you're falling short, and you're going to feel like that word that everyone hates feels like you're failing. You're not failing. You're not failing. You're achieving all the things that you need to achieve. But what if we stopped chasing balance and we started creating harmony in our life? What is life work harmony? How does harmony work different than balance? Harmony is different. It's not about everything being equal. It's about everything being aligned. It's about choosing intentionality where your energy goes based on what matters most to you in this season of your life. Your success snowflake, your why, your core values, your vision board. It's about designing a life where your commitments serve you, where your calendar reflects your values, and where your time matches your truth. Because harmony, you guys, isn't perfection. Harmony is alignment. It's not about doing everything, it's about doing the right things at the right time for the right reason. So a lot of people say, I gotta make sacrifice. Let's reframe something here, you guys. Most people talk about sacrifice like it's a burden. I had to give this up. I missed out on that. But that is a very, very powerless perspective. Because when you're clear on what you want, which we've talked about the last 7 weeks, most people never get what they want because they don't know exactly what they want. When you are clear on what you're building, when you're clear on what you're becoming, nothing you set down feels like a sacrifice. Nothing. It feels like a commitment. You're not sacrificing time with your friends, you guys. You're committing to your future. You're not sacrificing your weekends. You're committing to your vision board, your success snowflake. You're not sacrificing sleep sometimes. You're committed to growing. You're committed to your morning routine. People who don't understand your journey will call it sacrifice, and they will tell you that you need more balance. But you'll know this. It's alignment, it's harmony, it's purpose, and it's purpose over popularity. Stop trying to please everyone. Start pleasing you. People might call you selfish, but if you are not taking care of you, you can't take care of anybody. Because I will tell you this, what I figured out about harmony is freedom. And here's the beautiful part. When you design your life around harmony and not balance, something very, very powerful will happen. You'll start to feel free because you're not reacting to everything. You're leading your own life. You're not trying to be everything to everyone. You're being true to yourself. Because when you wake up, you know your priorities. You know with clarity. You rest with peace. And this is the thing about harmony, you guys. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present with whatever you've chosen to show up for in that moment. When I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids. When I'm with my wife, I'm with my wife. Last week, we went on our eighth honeymoon and I didn't work. I didn't take my computer. I didn't look at my phone. I looked at the option to upgrade to advanced internet on the boat and I was like, nope, not doing that because I wanted to be present with my wife. And it was one of the best vacations that we've ever taken in our life. We literally got up every day, went to the gym, worked out, played pickleball, was in bed by 8:30, watching movies, snuggling. We never left the boat. It was all about her and I. And that was because I wanted to be harmonious with my wife. And that's what harmony is all about. And at the end of the day, harmony starts with one powerful question. What do I really want? The question is not what others want for you, not what society says you should want, not what's safe or conventional, but what lights your soul on fire. And I want you to think about light as energy, just like Be the Light and LifeWave. My wife said this to me after our event in Destin. And I came back and I'd worked with Justin that week and I was talking about Justin and she was like, Justin really lights you up. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, you just have a completely different energy when you talk about him. And I was like, huh. And she was like, let me see if I can guess the other people that light you up. And she literally guessed every single person that lights me up in the order of what they lit me up. And that's what you got to think about with harmony. What lights you up? Who lights you up? What makes your heart beat faster? Who makes your heart beat faster? What kind of impact, lifestyle, legacy do you want to create? Once you know that, you have to go after it with all you got. Because harmony doesn't happen by accident, you guys. It's designed, it's protected, and it's earned. And when your days are built on commitments that align with your vision, when your energy and your light flows where your purpose leads, you stop surviving and you start thriving. You start harmonizing your life into something extraordinary. So we're not chasing balance, you guys. We're going to build harmony on purpose, with purpose, for a life that feels like complete freedom. So before we close this out, let's take a moment to zoom out and reflect on what we just talked about together. I like to always start with what we talked about last week and finish what we talked about this week because repetition creates clarity, and we talked about a lot. And all this stuff was a surface level motivation. I am not here to motivate you guys. Understand one thing. Motivation is temporary. Zig Ziglar said that motivation is like taking a bath. You need it every day. What I want to do is inspire you. Inspiration is something that you have within you. Motivation comes from the outside. I want you to have from the inside. I want you to be inspired every single day. That was not the purpose of this. I wanted to give you guys tools to create success in your life. And when these things come up, you can be like, oh, yes, this is what I have to do in this moment. This was the deep work, you guys. This is the real work. This is the stuff that creates breakthroughs in business and in life. We talked about failure and how it's not the end, it's an invitation. It's an invitation to figure out what you need to execute on. We reframed it as a measuring stick, a guide, a reflection of how bold, consistent, and committed we truly are. Because if you're not committed, I quit. Then we broke down the 9 daily accountable questions. Simple on the surface, but deeply transformative when you practice them every single day. The questions are basically your mirror, you guys. They're a mirror you're holding up in front of yourself every single day. They're your compass. They're your check-in with your future self. Where am I headed? Where am I going? Is it monotonous? It's absolutely monotonous. But every single day I get better from asking those questions of myself. Ask them consistently, and you will stay aligned with your highest standard. And finally, we dove in the difference between balance and harmony. We shattered the myth that everything in life has to be perfectly weighted. Instead, we embrace the truth. Harmony is about living with clarity, intention, and alignment. Defining your days around what matters most to you guys. You don't need more hours in a day. You guys need more alignment in how you use them. You don't need to be perfect, you need to be committed. You don't need to avoid failure. You need to move through it with power and purpose. Every single day is a new chance to build the life and business that you say you want and that you absolutely 1000% deserve. But it only becomes real when your standards, your actions, and your accountability catch up to your vision. So let this be your guys' reminder. You will never rise to the level of your goals. You rise or fall to the level of your standards. And the best part, you guys get to set the standard. So raise it, own it, live it. Because the world doesn't need another half in, halfway, half committed version of you. And let me tell you this, if you guys know Devin and Sarah, you know there is no half, quarter, three-quarter with them. They are a prime example of all in all the time. This world needs the real you, the powerful, purpose-driven, fully alive version who stops waiting and starts leading. So, um, I wanted to hold on a second. That I put in my bullet points, the notes. The save the date. Let me see. Okay, yeah, sorry. I thought this was for the Destin event. So I want to tell you guys, June 26th, we're going to come back together for one more session to recap the 90-day plan from top to bottom. It's going to take us like 15, 20 minutes. But more importantly, my favorite session with you guys was when you guys had questions and we talked about, what's your biggest fear, what's your struggles, anything that you guys are stuck on, anything that needs clarity, any part of the process that felt heavy, hard, or confusing at any point in the last 7 weeks, I want to coach you through it. And I want everyone to come on here and be very open because I had so many messages from people saying that that was very, very happy. And that was their favorite session of going through those. And they learned from other people because some people are shy and some people aren't shy. So I would love to do that with you guys on June 26th at 2 p.m. Hoping nothing comes up, but that's going to be our last session. And this is your guys' moment to get personalized insight, ask tough questions, and get the support you need to finish what you guys started. So before I go, I need to shine the spotlight on two people who have been monumental, instrumental on my journey here at LifeWave. I'm so happy that I met these two individuals. Like, God is so good. Like, it's crazy when Kyle came to me, he was talking about this Devin, Sarah person, and they signed up. I signed up a day after Kyle. Kyle knew nothing about the business. I knew nothing about the business. And every time I call Kyle, he said, you know what, call Sarah. She's the encyclopedia of LifeWave. So they were there in the very beginning of my career when this was just an idea in a whirlwind of craziness. And it was so crazy. After I met Devin and Sarah, they poured this belief into me when I was still trying to figure this thing out. They answered all of my questions after question after question after question. I probably could have found the information somewhere else, but it was so much faster just to call Sarah. And I'm not saying that's the best solution, but that was my solution back then. They shared wisdom with me. They led with unmatched passion and energy. Sarah had me so excited about this business. Devin had me so excited about this business, his energy, which you're going to see now. So it's only right to bring them in to close us out with the same fire that they've given me for the last 9 months that I've been in this business. So if you guys would help me welcome our incredible uplines, this is everyone's uplines on this call, Devin and Sarah. They thank you guys so much for being a complete rock, a resource, and relentless support behind so much of all of our success on this call and everyone that's going to watch this call. You guys are the true epitome of greatness, and we're all so honored to learn from both of you and grow with you guys. So, you guys, thank you so much for everything that you've done. Take it away.
Oh my goodness. I mean,
Oh my, Sarah, can
how do
I,
we come after that,
I
Jay?
know, Jay, I'm sitting here and I'm like sitting here watching Jay, and honestly, Jay, you made me tear up. I just didn't show a little bit. I started to tear up because when you start talking about your two daughters, you speak my love language, man. It's like my whole life. I feel like that's one of the biggest things when I always take away. And I feel like that God brought you into Sarah and I's life because we were praying for people like you and your wife, Amanda, to show up in our life. And because you challenge me, you hold me accountable, and you are a prime of example of somebody who doesn't just get on a Zoom call and teach. You're the man who implements everything you teach to bless your entire team. And I'm forever grateful and thankful for that, because you are such an amazing leader. And we are so inspired by you and your wife, and truly humbled and honored to even have that you even allow us to speak into your team's life. It means the world to us. And I just want
You
to share
you
this.
guys you guys are whatever.
Oh,
That's a very, very nice thing to say, Devin. But you guys are, I mean, listen, every single person is here because of you guys. You guys know that, right? If it wasn't for you, Kyle wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. None of us would be here. So you guys are the reason that we're here. So and the reason we stayed, quite honestly, because I mean, you guys were just so gracious to. I mean, I've called Sarah so many times. I mean, I probably have my own ringtone, by now.
awesome. So I just wanted to share this excitement a little bit. I don't know if you guys were early on the call today and you got to see Kyle and Jay break down, just keep the new comp plan advance changes. They did an amazing job. And I just want to share this. The people right now on this call today that literally get excited right now about these changes, and you implement this into your business, into your life, you are going to change your family's destiny. When Jay was talking about how David Schmidt doubled down right now on this industry and put more money in there for our families, right now, the people who really take advantage of this, you're going to change your family's life. And you're going to do that by very basically what Jay said, keeping this simple. I mean, the biggest thing when I first got introduced to this industry and into LifeWave is, obviously you guys know I come from an ag background. I'm not a science background. I don't have big degrees in chemistry and things like that. But the word that I think stood out to Jay, and that stood out to Kyle when I talked to Kyle, that I know they're very busy. I know they're entrepreneurs. I know, but the one thing that will always pique interest in people is when you use the word opportunity. Opportunity, because the definition of opportunity, it means life changing. Jay is not interested. If I were to call Jay and tell him about this business that I had, and we had to look at legal and attorneys and things, because starting a business is not easy. But when I use the word an opportunity, and that being that this was a business in a box, something that was already implemented, a simple business in a box, and it had a system behind it, a plug and play that, this is what we do. This is the comp plan. This is, we have little things that we changed throughout that, early times, Jay. But, this company basically had been around for 20 years. It was strong and stable. It wasn't like Jay's like, well, when did this start? Who started? He knew it was a very strong and stable company. When he heard the word patented, that literally was another word that Jay was looking for, exclusivity. Because without that, without a patent, without exclusivity, you're just sharing. You're just reselling another weight loss. You're just reselling another protein powder. There's really not a big opportunity there for your family to grasp. So some things I'm going to share with you that Sarah and I implemented is we made a promise to our children. I think that's important for people. When I hear Jay talk about his daughters, like when me and Sarah, I wanted to show my daughters that we could change change our whole family with this vehicle, and we would build them a brand new swimming pool from nothing. We started just like you. We started with an advanced package for $500 and something. And from that, we made way beyond the swimming pool, but we promised our daughter. I think it's just important whether you promise your sponsor, your husband and wife, if you're single on this call your mom, call your dad, say, Mom, I'm making a major shift today. I'm going to hit this rank. I want to share it with you. I'm speaking it because me and Sarah spoke that to our daughters, and they visually got to watch us every day. Building a list is another thing that I teach this to all of my Sarah's personals. Get the people off of your phone. They're right there. And put them on a piece of paper. Write their names down of people that you want to call and share this opportunity with right now, because we literally have a breakthrough, life-changing wearable device technology that literally turns on the body's natural healing power. Guess what? Everybody is walking around with dormant stem cells. And so we have this amazing opportunity right now that nobody else has, and there's zero risk. $300 is the least. $1,700 is the most you can spend. There's no risk. of getting involved with this. The only thing that's going to happen to you is you're going to get healthier. So for your family, this is what I've always learned. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You know, the two biggest things right now, if you want to see a major shift in your business, because everybody wants to do what? We want to create a little momentum. We want to get some momentum coming for our family, right? Just get our business off the ground floor. Two things are what's going to get you with momentum, and that's clarity, making a decision, knowing right now that you're going to draw a line in the sand, that LifeWave is your vehicle for you and your family, and courage, that you are going to start making the phone calls, that you are going to start sharing. You don't have to know everything. You can, like Jay said, I didn't know all the answers. I know Sarah didn't have all the answers at the beginning, but we had resources that we could point to, whether this is at info or this is at team. We could get the answers for Jay, because Jay was calling us all the time. Hey, I got a question about this. I got a question about this comp plan. I said, man, Jay, that's a great question. I don't know that. Could you give me 5 minutes? I'll get that answer for you. And me and Sarah would go get him the next answer. Even if we didn't, you don't have to know everything, but you gotta have clarity, and you gotta have courage, and you must be crystal clear. And we must, these calls that you're on. I love the fact that Jay offers these calls, because, one of my biggest models in life is the SEAL team model, right? And there's 3 key aspects to the SEAL team model, and that's learning to develop ourselves. Become the person, you've heard this 100 times. Danny McDaniel, Jay said it the other night on his training call. Are you the leader that you would follow? Are you the person that you would follow? And so are you the person that you would want to sponsor? Are you the person you're looking to sponsor in this business? Just become that person. Plug into the Zooms. I love plugging into Jay's phone calls. You learn something every single time, and then become an example to your team, right? At Jay, the reason why Jay and Kyle looked and would follow Sarah and I is because they saw us doing the action. Your personals and the people that are in your business, they're looking for you. Are you doing Zoom calls? Are you going to people's houses and maybe doing a simple little event for 4 or 5 people in a home, that you stop by and say, hey, Sherry, what's a good time? I'd love to come over and help you and Dave launch your business. Hey, could you get 4 or 5 people in your house? I would love to come over and help you. Really? You'd come over and do that for me? You'd come help me? Absolutely. I'd show up in your house. Be the example to your team that you're looking for. And developing others, you find strengths in your team. Like Jay has certain strengths that I'm never going to have. Kyle and Joe have strengths that I'm never going to have. But together as a team, we can, feed off each other's strengths and utilize them as a bigger picture to grow this organization, one person at a time. I built my list, and me and Sarah in the beginning, we were trying to sponsor people. I know Zoom, Jay, gives us the ability to, sponsor people in different states and different countries. But when we first got started, we like to sponsor people like 1 to 3 hours around our house, because we could get to those people. It was like some of the people that we really wanted to create momentum. Sarah would sponsor people closer to the house, where we could, build that bonfire in our backyard, and we could launch businesses, our business right in our backyard, an hour from the house, something feasible, that people, when they're first getting started, maybe not making the money they want to in the beginning, but they can drive an hour. They can afford to go an hour, 30 minutes from their house, and get their business off the ground. So I was always taught that: build your bonfire in your backyard, 3, 6, 9 hour radius from your house, and just create excitement. Excitement is what sparks curiosity. Get excited about this opportunity every single day. This is not like a traditional business, guys. Businesses are hard. You've heard Tony Robbins saying after 10 years, 96% of businesses fail. 4% are still around. They might not even be making money. Well, guess what? Me and my dad were one of those. We were around for 12 years making no money. 0. And you know what? God brought this vehicle into our life. He brought LifeWave. We were praying about a real opportunity. I wanted 3 things. Write these down, the 3 most important things for you. My 3 most important things for me were health, time, and freedom. Because I knew if I could focus on my health, and Jay's been a mentor and Kyle's been a mentor of doing that. If I could focus on my health, I could have more time with my loved ones. I can have more time with my daughters and my wife. I think of that when you share this every day, that you have a blessing for people, that you can literally help change their health, their well-being, so that they can have more time with their loved ones. I think if you share it from a place like that, from your heart, it's receptive to people across the board. And then if you say, hey, I got an opportunity, if you're interested, man, I've never seen anything like this before. Do you got 10 minutes? Everybody's got 10 minutes. You pique their curiosity. What's one biggest thing on that 10-minute call? This company's gone from 20 to 600 million. Any person that hears that a company went from 20 to 600 million, they're interested. How did it do that? What company is that? What product and technology? I always use that in every one of my pitches to pique curiosity. I use that every time. Man, this company's amazing. It's gone from 2,600 million in the last couple of years. You got to hear this. So I don't want to take all the time. I know Sarah's over there nudging Jay. I know you have a call at 6 o'clock. So I'm going to let Sarah go ahead, Sarah, jump on and finish
Well,
it.
I know Jay's got to go at 6 o'clock, and
Yep, I
Devin,
know, I know.
you knocked it out of the park. Everything Devin just said is what we do every single day. When Jay, which thank you so much for all your kind words. It means the world. I've learned so much from you in the last 9 months. I look up to you and Jimena so much. But I had to develop myself into the leader that I always wanted to be. To like, I try to emulate my upline, Stephen Gina Merritt, Mike Hernandez. And if they're doing it, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm copying the right cat. And I know in this business, success loves speed. So I was quickly got to work. I quickly started to get uncomfortable. I quickly, when someone asked me a question, I wouldn't go, well, maybe go, I would go find out the answer and I would give it back to them. I was preparing myself for a Jay Adkins. Took me 2 years preparing myself for a Kendall Weldon and Joe and Kyle Kimbrough, who broke every record in the first 2 weeks they got in. I was preparing myself. It took me 2 years. So what you guys need to focus on right now, which I know everyone's like, we love that instant gratification. I love it too. But in business, especially direct sales, you need to think years, not weeks. You're not chasing quick money. You're building a business asset, especially with these compensation plan enhancements. And each day when I got started, I didn't judge my day by the harvest that I was reaping. I judged it by the seeds I was planting. Okay. And maybe on some of those days where I had a hard day or someone, because sometimes in this business, someone can hit your ego. We're super passionate. Maybe we don't get the right feedback and we kind of like get knocked down a little bit. The next day you wake up and what keeps you going is what Devin shared with you was our why, that time, that health, that freedom with our kids, right? That freedom. What is your why? Is it freedom? Is it impact? Is it financial? Let that drive your effort when it gets tough. Okay. And just my last thing, I had a couple things, but Devin, just you did so good, honey. I'm going to let that simmer. But for me, what I've always focused on is the income producing activities and the impact and service to many leads to greatness. Your job is to share, not convince. That is your job for income producing activities. Share, not convince people. Some will, some won't. So what? Next. Every no is one step closer to a yes. I can promise you, Jay, myself, and all the rest of your upline, we've heard more no's than you can ever imagine. So just focus on the fact that you make a goal each day to share it with people. You stay in those income producing activities. You stay consistent. You think years, not weeks. And I promise you, with what we are creating with your upline, who are the best in this industry, I mean, you guys are so blessed that we get to all come here and listen to this type of leadership. It's out of this world. Just know what we have our hands on. Stay focused. The best is yet to come. It's the best. We haven't even, we're just getting started. So I'm really excited. Jay, thank you so much for having
Yeah.
Devin and I
Well,
today.
thank you guys for killing that at the end. I really, really appreciate all of your insight and knowledge. And you know, the sharing thing, I just want to say the sharing thing is so good, you guys. You need to listen to that because I really feel like our industry should be our company, LifeWave, shouldn't be direct sales, it should be direct sharing. And that's when people ask me, "Oh, is this a direct sales business?" I'm like, "No, no, this is a direct sharing business." And they're like, "Well, what's the difference?" And I'm like, well, we don't sell anything. I just share an amazing product and amazing technology, and then it takes care of the rest. So, and then we just get compensated if people have a great response from it. And so you don't have to sell anything, you guys. It's all about giving people options, and you guys are dead on with that. If you try to sell, people are going to feel sold and they're going to run away from you. But if you just share, you know, how this has impacted your life and other people's lives, you're going to have way more success. So you're not in sales, you're just in sharing. And so thank you guys so much for being so amazing. And Devin, Sarah, thank you for getting on your last minute because I called at 12 o'clock. I go, oh, I forgot. I don't know. I'm not sure if Devin and Sarah knew, and I wanted them on this call tonight. So thank you guys for making it happen. I think you guys are going out of town or something. You guys still made it happen. So always, there's never a time you don't make it happen. So, and Jimena and I love you guys too. And we had a great trip to Utah with them. I mean, when you travel with people, you really get to know who people are, either in a good way or a bad way. And it was just an amazing trip that we got to spend that time with you guys. We totally miss you guys. So thank you guys so much. And we'll see you on June 26th at 2 p.m. We'll wrap it all up and just write your questions down. And I want to help you guys with as much as I possibly can. Anything that you're struggling with, it's going to be your time. I don't want to do all the talking. I want you guys to ask the questions or give the input. Thank you guys for your time. I know how precious your time is, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for trusting me. Have a great night. I'll talk to you guys very soon.